Last episode, I know I was in a needle clearing mood, and I may have broken that already and cast on 2 new things. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Birch and Lily, where I talk about all of the crafty goodness that I've been up to over the past couple weeks. There are a couple places you can find me on the internet. They will all be linked down below for you in the description. And make sure you check them out to stay updated with what I'm working on in between each of these episodes. One announcement before we get started on this episode: if you haven't joined in on the Bloom Baby Bloom make-along that I'm hosting with Tracey of Grizzly Knits, make sure you check all of the information down below in the description as well for that. It's a make-along, so either you can knit or crochet any sort of project that is floral based. Like I said, all of the major instructions will be down below for that. The Ravelry thread where you can post your finished objects and chat, the hashtag, all of that. And I am going to show you today my project that I cast on for the Bloom Baby Bloom make-along. My yarn came, I cast on, I'm loving it so much. But yeah, I, as always, especially now that it's getting warmer out, am too warm with this on right now, with my lights shining on me. So let's jump on into finished objects and I can show you what I'm wearing. This is my Dotted Rays by Stephen West. I don't think I've shown this in a long time. And then after I finished last episode, what did I finish last episode? 2 shawls? A cowl and a shawl. That's what I finished last episode. I kind of got in the finishing mood and I picked this up and totally finished it. So I don't want to stand up because I'm in shorts and I feel weird, but I think, oh yeah, this does show it off. So I completely finished this shawl. I was going to knit the extra large size for it, I think, but I hit a point where I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of garter short rows. So I did drop down to the large size, and I'm totally fine with that. This isn't blocked, if I'm being honest. I will block it, and I'm sure it will grow a lot more, but it's already really, really large, so I don't know if I even will block it. It's I don't know. We'll see if the mood strikes me, but it's, like I said, it's really big already, so I don't know if it's totally necessary. I cast this on with 3.5mm needles, which is a US 4, and everything else is knit exactly to pattern. I could put, like, which sections used what yarn for you if you wanted. If you wanted to know that, let me know in the comments and I would happily let you know. I have it in the notes somewhere on my phone. But let me show you kind of what I had left for yarn. So I think if I were to knit this again, I would change up what I did for the colors a little bit, just because there are some that I feel like I used nothing for, and there are some I feel like I used almost too much for. So here's my color A, B, I believe this is C, and then look, I have nothing left of D. Like, nothing. I was actually, when I had, like, kind of mapped out where I wanted to use each color and for what, I was actually going to use this color in another section and I had to stop because I was about to run out. And then CD, I think. A, B, goodness, D and E. Anyways, but yeah, I apparently hit my goal today on my Fitbit. That's cool. Anyways, I wish I would have adjusted kind of how much I used a little bit more, because I would have loved to have seen more of the purple in there, and it was definitely more of a blue teal leaning shawl, which is fine because I love those colors as well. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to make something else with this yarn because I have so much of it. I'm not a huge singles based person. Oh, this is, I don't know tons about this yarn. For some reason, when I purchased it as a kit for the What the Fade Mystery Knit Along from Andrea Mowry. And when I received it, none of the yarn had ball bands. So I have no idea what any of these are called. I have no idea what the exact base is. I do know it's from Farmer's Daughter Fibers, and I'm assuming It's some sort of singles base. Now, I don't know if the singles base they carry now, if they even carry one. I didn't look, if I'm being honest. I don't know if it's this one, if it's changed, like what's going on with it, but that is what that is. So yeah, I feel like I maybe could have picked a better project that would have used up more of it, because now I have it sitting around and I'm not a huge singles base person, but I'll find something to use it for, or I'll gift it to someone. I've hit the point where I have so much scrap yarn that I probably could just gift it to someone, especially since I'm not a singles yarn person. So, very happy with the shawl, glad it's done. Like I said, I don't know if I'm even going to block it because it doesn't really look that misshapen. It looks great. I think I might just wear it and leave it as is and go from there, but I'm happy it's done. I'm happy it's off my needles. Last episode, I know I was in a needle clearing mood, and I may have broken that already and cast on 2 new things. So you're going to get to see those shortly. But yeah, that's all I have finished for this episode, so we might as well jump into works in progress. So let's just start with my project for the Bloom Baby Bloom Make Along. I know I had talked about doing this last episode with a couple different yarns. The second yarn that I wanted to use that was in my stash did not work. Unfortunately, it was too close to the other color I had ordered, which I had kind of suspected would happen, but that's okay. I am using something else. I have options. So what I did end up doing for my pressed flower shawl, this is the yarn I ordered and it's gorgeous. This is from Woolberry Fiber Co. on their Berry Home DK base. It's a 100% non-superwash merino yarn, and I think it is locally sourced. It's really beautiful. This colorway is called Herb Garden, and I'm just holding or using my Birch and Lily Fiber Co. Birch DK 100% superwash merino in the color natural with it. This seems to be one of my go-tos now. I used it in my goodness, why can't I think of the name? Shame on me. My Kindra cowl. I use this in my Kindra cowl, so actually I am using up the leftovers I had from that, and then I'll go into this next cake. But I don't know, it's just perfect to go with, oops, not focusing, perfect to go with anything colorworky because it's so simple. So that is what I'm using for my pressed flower shawl, and I've got, I think, the setup and 1 full chart repeat done on it. So I feel like I've got a decent amount done. It's got an interesting cast on. You actually do a provisional cast on for it, which I've never done for a shawl. And now that I've done it, I totally understand why I did it, or why the pattern calls for it, but not something I've ever done. It was like the teeniest provisional cast on ever, but here we go. Look how pretty this is. Oh my goodness. So like I said, I'm knitting this for the Bloom Baby Bloom Make Along, because flowers. And it's just turning, sorry about the needles smacking around there. It's just turning out beautifully. So very simple. It's not color work, it's mosaic knitting. So if I show you the back, it's got floats kind of, but not really, because all it is, instead of holding 2 strands and knitting with them at the same time every row, you're only knitting with 1 color every row, and so you're just slipping the stitches that you don't want to be in that color. So very, very easy. You definitely have to pay attention to the pattern, but each row repeat is really easy to remember, so you have to check what you're doing each row, but once you get going, you don't have to check after that first time for the whole row, if that makes sense. So it's been fun to work on. Now, something else has stolen my heart. So I haven't worked on this maybe as much as I would like, but I have until July 1st, so I'm fine. I have plenty of time to finish in time for the make along. And if I don't, that's okay too. But yeah, loving this. Let me check my notes here. I'm using a 3.75 millimeter needle, which is a US 5 for this. I don't think that's what the pattern called for. I feel like I dropped needle size a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure. But if you check the Ravelry pattern page down below, it will tell you what the needle is called for. Anyways, I'm pretty positive I dropped needle size for it. So I love this bag. This is from Birch Grove. I think I show this all the time because I only have a couple large project bags, but that is what this is in. I have one cross stitch project I've been working on. Like I said, my heart has been stolen by some knitting, so I really haven't done a lot of cross stitch, but I did pull this out. This bag is from, oh, what's it called now? It's not the Sag and Stitch anymore. Something Willow. I'll put it across the screen. But that's where this bag is from. It's one of my typical vinyl front bags that I love, with a very jingly thing on the zipper. This is Susie Sampler Maker, which I don't think I've worked on in quite some time, but I just felt like working on it. It was really nice and warm out on Saturday. I got this pretty burn while I was working on it. I think my sunscreen was expired, which is really, really unfortunate and my own fault for not checking ahead, but I need to purchase some new sunscreen because I'm really burnt. But I was working on this outside while I burned, so I don't know. Yeah, anyways. Threads. These are all of the called for threads. Very bright, very pretty project. Stephanie of Lindy Stitches, I think she's quite known for that, but I love it so much. And I'm using, it's a Color and Cotton neutral club fabric, which, Jenny, the heck, that ain't neutral, because it ain't. Blue is not neutral, but this is still really pretty. So that's where I am. I will see if I can find a screenshot of where I was before, but I've got, what have I worked on? This right here I worked on, and this flower. I think that's all I got done. I haven't done tons, but I just love all the colors in it. And this fabric here with the, like, it's periwinkle. I think that's what I'd call it, is like a periwinkle. But I don't know, it just works so perfectly with everything. So if I hold, let's see, let's fold it here. Like, look how pretty that looks with all those colors. I love it. So even though it is not neutral, I have found something to use it with, and I'm happy for that, at least. I'm stitching this whole thing. It's a 40 count fabric, so I'm stitching it one thread over 2 linen threads. And yeah, I should really get back to this dress fill-in, because that's going to take forever. But gotta bounce around a little bit, because if I just fill that dress in, I'll never want to pick it up again. So that's all I've done for cross stitch. I find, I don't know, I jump back and forth between stuff. It's not very often that I'm like, yes, I evenly am working on my cross stitch and my knitting. I get in a knitting mood, and then I get in a cross stitch mood, and then I get in a I don't want to do anything mood, and then I switch back. So right now it seems to be that I am in a knitting mood, and that's okay. What else have I worked on? Should we talk about what's stolen my heart? I have had this yarn kicking around for forever, for the Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter. I had purchased a kit for it when the pattern came out, and then I just never cast it on. So I have done so now, and I literally haven't put it down since I cast it on. I have been loving this so much, and you'll see that when I show it to you, but this yarn is gorgeous. Actually, I only need one skein of the main color. I don't need to show you both. This yarn is beautiful. I've never worked with Magpie Fibers yarn before, but I loved these colors when I saw the kit when I purchased it, and then I don't know why I didn't cast it on for so long, but I didn't. But this is their, what's it called? I think Swanky sock? I should have wrote that down. Yes, Swanky sock. So it's an 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And I don't know if I've ever knit. No, I've knit with cashmere before. Not often, that's for sure. But there's cashmere in it. So the main color I'm using for the sweater is this gorgeous color here. This is called Tactical. And then the two contrast colors I have here, the blue is called Smoke on the Water, and the black is called Selkie? S-E-L-K-I-E. That's a type of chicken, isn't it? Anyways, so let's see if I can hold all these at once. Oh dear. My hands are so small. So that is my sweater, and it's so pretty, and I'm so excited to have this finished. And shockingly, for it being a fingering weight sweater, it's going really fast. It is cropped. I'm sure I have shown a picture already on the screen, but I think the croppedness of it is helping. But yeah, it's going really fast. Like, I've already separated for the sleeves, and it's only been, what, did I cast this on right after I recorded? I don't know. But yeah, I've already separated for the sleeves. Like, what the heck? So it's so pretty. I'm knitting the size medium in this. I did write down the bust circumference because I feel like that is relevant. So it does call for 10 to 12 inches of positive ease. Now, I am right on the money with gauge for this, and I feel like it's not going to have the ease that it's saying. This is supposed to be for 40, or supposed to turn out to be 48 inches around at the bust. Now, granted, I guess it is smushed on the needles a little bit, so maybe it will end up being a bit bigger than I thought, but I guess once I block it, it will grow a tiny bit as well. So anyways, it's just been so much fun to knit. I love the V in the front. I will eventually pick up around this to do some ribbing. And then look how beautiful this cable detail is along the sleeves as well. This is knit raglan style, which I think I prefer, to be honest. I prefer the fit of it. It just, I apologize for the train. I don't know what it's been lately. We've always had train sounds, like we live by a train track, but lately there's been like 5 times as many trains and I don't know what's going on. And they've been like 5 times more loud. Like, usually they just blow their horn once or twice. Now they're like 15 times. I don't understand. Anyways, like I was saying, I think I prefer how a raglan sweater fits me to a just typical yoked sweater. It fits my shoulders and just my whole top area much better. So, and I prefer the construction of it, to be honest. I don't know. Something about knitting a raglan is really fun for me. So, sorry, I'm trying to see. Okay, good, you can't see it on the screen. But yeah, it's just been so much fun, and I have started, as of like half an hour ago, the color work. You can't really see it because there's just one teensy tiny little row there, but I've started the color work. So it is going to be a cropped sweater. I quite prefer, well, not prefer, no, that's silly. I like cropped sweaters though, especially in the fall and winter with like a really cute high-waisted pair of jeans. So I'm really excited to finish this, and I just love something about olive green. I love olive greens and burnt oranges, so I'm very excited to wear this, and it's so soft and so drapey and so wonderful. What am I doing? I used actually the called for needle size. I thought for sure I was going to have to drop down a size or 2, but no, when I did my gauge swatch, which I did do like a good girl, but I'm using the yarn in this sweater because I was worried I was going to run out. So I swatched and unwound it and then started knitting the sweater with it. Or no, where is my swatch? Because I swatched with one of the contrast colors. I don't know where my swatch is. I thought I was going to have to do that, but then I realized I was being really silly because I'm not going to run out of my contrast colors, so I could use one of the contrast colors to swatch. Anyways, I don't know where my swatch is, but I hit gauge, and so, yeah. Where was I going with that? Yes. I hit gauge, I'm using the called for needle size, which is a 3.5 millimeter US 4 needle. I've been using that needle size a lot lately. They're all, no, they're not all used up right now because I finished the 2 other projects that were on it. But I've been using that needle size a lot. So, gorgeous, love it, stealing my heart, so excited to go work on this after I'm done recording because it's so pretty. I have been quite busy all day and I haven't been able to work on it much today. I planted sweet peas outside, I was working in my gardens. I have very large gardens. I don't know if I have talked about this before, but the previous owner of our home loved gardening and loved butterflies, and so half of our yard, which is 1.5 acres, probably not half, maybe 1/4 of our yard is half? Now I'm thinking about this. No, I would say a third. We'll go with a third. A third of our yard is a massive butterfly garden, which is fun, but I definitely don't make it look nearly as pretty as he did. Like, his garden was so pretty that it was in magazines. My garden is pretty, but not that pretty. So I was out cleaning up leaves out there, doing some weeding, planting my sweet peas, took the dog for a walk. We had a package to drop off, so we did that on the walk. So I've been busy all day, and I haven't been able to work on this that much, and I've been thinking about it, and I want to work on it so bad. So when I'm done recording, this is what I'm going to work on. But beautiful, love it. Mad at myself for not casting it on till now, but excited to have it cast on. And I am blaming this sweater cast on, because I thought I was just going to work on socks for the next little while. But I am blaming RO for making me cast this on. Because I decided last week, the week before, that I was going to watch all of her old episodes, because I've only been watching like her newer ones as they've come out, but I hadn't watched any of the old ones. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch those, and I'm gonna kind of see what she's been working on over the past little while. Well, the list of sweaters that I have that I want to knit now is ridiculous. And I'm blaming RO. I'm okay with it, but I told myself if I wanted to knit some of those, I had to knit this first because I had the yarn in my stash. And I'm so glad that I am, because it's so pretty, and I'm so excited to have this finished. So thank you, but also not thank you, to RO for making me cast on all the sweaters. I have worked on one pair of socks, though, mainly because, here's a fun story. Saturday night, I got to take my husband to the emergency room because he got something in his eyeball, stuck in his eyeball. And it wasn't that he was even not being safe. He was wearing glasses in the garage while he was doing his stuff. He was doing everything he could to be safe, but it must have been in his hair, whatever it was that got stuck in his eye. It fell out of his hair, got stuck in his eye. We could not get it out for the life of us, and everything was closed, of course, because it was a Saturday night, so we got to go spend time in the emergency room. And so I brought this, thankfully, thought to bring this along because my phone was almost dead, I realized when I got there. But I worked on this pair of socks a little bit in the emergency room. Oh man, it was an interesting day. That was also the day I burnt myself. So he was in the emergency room with something in his eyeball, and I was sitting there quite burnt and uncomfortable, knitting a sock. So these are on 2.25mm US 1 needles, my usual, and I cast on 60 stitches for these. I waffle between 56 and 60 stitches. I don't know when I cast these on. They've been on the needles for a while. These are usually my movie knitting socks, but they work good for the emergency room as well, so that's good to know. This yarn is from Scrumptious Pearl. The color is called Spring Flowers. It's beautiful. I do think I'm going to put an afterthought heel in these, but not a typical afterthought heel. I want to use the shortbread heel, which is a pattern from Lindsay Fowler of Larkspur Knits, Larkspur Handmade. I will never remember which one it is, but it's a beautiful heel pattern. I knew I had these sitting here. These are my Advent socks from this past Christmas, but this is a shortbread heel. And something about it fits me like a heel flapping gusset fits, which I've never been able to get with an afterthought heel. Usually they slide right off my foot. So now that I have something that I can use in place of a typical afterthought heel, I'm totally down for doing them again. So I'm just gonna knit a big long tube with this and put the heel in whenever I feel like it. So yeah, where that progress keeper is where I started my knitting. I felt like I knit more. Also, I feel like my gauge has changed. Do you see that? That's weird. Interesting. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's changed a little bit when I look at it on the screen. Anyways. Oh no. No. They were just stretched funny. Anyways. I think I've said anyways like 5 times now. I didn't get very much done. I thought I did, but apparently not. So that progress keeper is from the Corner of Craft. She makes beautifully, beautifully hand beaded progress keepers. And I love this one so much. I should put it on something I work on more often so I can see it more often, but it's cute on here as well. So I have moved that up now, but got a little bit of work on that while I was in the emergency room. Fun story. Fun fact, that's the first time in our married life we've been in the emergency room, and I'm very thankful it was for something not too intense, because I don't do well there. But that is everything that I've worked on over the past couple weeks. This episode is much longer than I expected, but that's okay. Oh, my hair looks so frizzy. Goodness. There, that's a little better. I guess there's some bigger projects, so there's a little bit more to talk about. I totally forgot to mention, there is still some yarn available in the shop. Not tons, but there are a few skeins left in the shop. If there's anything that you want me to dye up on Birch DK, just let me know. You can send me a message on my email, on Instagram, or everything is available that's out of stock, up for pre-order. All my berry yarn is here, so 2 to 4 weeks turnaround, probably more like 2, depends how fast it wants to dry. But definitely make sure you check out the shop for what's available from the Cut Flowers collection update that was the 30th of April. And yeah, I also want to thank you guys so much for how much you supported me with that update. It blew me away. It made me really happy, and I'm so glad that you guys loved the skeins. And I think, looking at all my shipping stuff on the website, it looks like people were getting skeins delivered today. So if you ordered from me, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I'm so glad that you found something that you loved in the shop. If you haven't subscribed already, I would love if you considered doing so. It helps the channel out a lot if you do that. Also hit the like button and turn on notifications if you want to see every time I upload a new video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this episode. I hope we'll see you again in 2 weeks. And enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!